welcome into another deck guy with Boneyard Gaming. And so today the Area Tusa meta report came out, and our buddy Lewis had been giving us a little bit of a heads up about a deck that he was working on for it. And so we had to give it a try. So we jumped in, and boy, are we glad we did. We kicked ass with this thing. You know, it's got a little bit of everything. It's not a Shiru list, and I'm glad it's not a Shiru list. Sometimes you're so focused on making Shiru pop off that, you know, you might miss the opportunity, you might not have the draws. It's just, Shiru's done. This is the list that you want to be doing with Precision Strike, okay? So we've got a tactical advantage. A lot of times I'll tell you, Hawker Smuggler was the card I really like to get on a round one. Because it's going to bait removal. And I don't care if Hawker Smuggler gets removed. In fact, let it get removed. But it's going to force out some of their tall removal. It got heat waved a lot. It got a bunch of things. I don't care if it goes. We're not in it for Hawker Smuggler. We have plenty of other ways to get carryover. So slam it, let it get removed, and be glad it's gone if it's drawing out tall removal. So Oneiromancy is a big piece in this deck, though we won a few games without being able to secure Oneiromancy, but it's just such a relief knowing, hey, I've got, you know, the big card I don't have. So Forest Protector, you know, because the deck is all about playing special cards, Forest Protector makes this deck a lot of control. I mean, that's essentially 3 rebukes. You could then play possibly even another Circle of Life. You have options. So, beautiful card. Geralt Professional, I love this card. It's done so many good opportunities for us to use it. I don't feel like we ever really lost value with Geralt. He always had a perfect spot where it's like, this is his time to shine. Heat Wave, you know, we really didn't Heat Wave too many scenarios now that I think about it. But it is nice. It's just, you know, it's nice to have an option if it's there to just take care of whatever's necessary. Novigrad Injustice. So this is a card we got to be careful. I'd like to get it out in round 1 if possible, just for thinning purposes. Because if you draw into the Volunteers or your Brooklyn Sentinels, you know, you're going to see them in your hand early on. It's nice to be able to get them out of there so you don't have, you know, these are the cards you have to avoid your bricks. So you got to see them in there. Make sure that, you know, you get them out so that this is the only thing that works with your Novigrad Injustice. So if you have a Volunteer in your hand, you are losing value on your Novigrad Injustice, so be careful. All Good, you know, I don't usually Super League love All Good, but in this list he makes just so much sense. A lot of times we would put All Good on the 2 Brooklyn Sentinels and maybe 1 Volunteer, just because these are cards you're pretty confident that you can grab or you'll be able to get out. So that usually was a safe bet. Sometimes, you know, we did put, you know, if we had Oneiromancy and a lot of other good cards we wanted, sometimes you could make a space to put them on Sheldon, or, you know, another card that you're confident you're going to use and you need to get value out of. So All Good has a lot of value here. Becker's Rock Slide, you know, he can remove chips, you know, that have been AA'd, that have been tutored in and boosted. There's just so many opportunities where we got good value to remove a beast or an engine that just was a little bit outside our rebuke range, and we didn't maybe want to use a leader tick to use as well. So Becker's Rock Slide, again, huge value. So Sheldon works really well in this deck. Your idea is to get him boosted up. That can be hit or miss. You have a lot of options to get him boosted up, though. All God being one. Circle of Life. Though, if you can't get the death blow on Circle of Life, you don't get a pick where it goes. So that could be a little bit tough. And again, try to avoid using your leader ticks to get it, to get after it. It's not always the best bet. Your real option is you would like to have Sheldon in round 1 with your Dwarven agitators. Or if you keep them in your hand for round 3, or you don't win round 1, the agitator was always a good burn card if a opponent had dry pass. So we used a lot of that as well. Fav, great value out of Fav. Fav can grab us so many things. She can grab us a rebuke if we didn't get one, another circle of life if we didn't get one, and then if all those come out, she'll give you the caress, and then obviously because you have Fav, you'll get the extra vitality on any card you drop this on, because you're that's what I really like to tutor Fav with. I knew if we were using her for a caress is because we really got everything else out. So this is a Gord list at the end of the day. Gord is your man. That means do whatever you got to do to win round 1 so that your Gord is your last say. Gord is the last say is what we need. Now, I'll tell you what, we had 2 games where we actually kind of drew garbage in round 1 and we lost on even, and then our opponent dry passed and took us to a round 3 where they got double last say, and 2 or 3 games we won with our opponent having double last say. So, it's not the end of the world if you don't get it, but I will say if you're going against another Gord list like the Symbiosis list or a mirror matchup, give everything you got to round 1, because if you can heat wave their Gord. So actually, usually you want to keep the last 2 cards in your hand is heat wave and Gord, and there were times where I actually Gorded and then heat wave, because I knew that once I was out of their heat wave range, you might want to Gord with their Gord and then heat wave as your last say. So a couple different options there, again, against the mirror matchups, but again against any other deck, last say. So again, we kind of went through the Hawkers, Smugglers, and all the way down here. Again, your Sentinels, another card, simply like with your Volunteers, could brick. You want to make sure that you're getting them out of your deck, so that they don't brick your leader ability. So just quickly, if we look at how we did tonight, we rolled very well. We're sitting at a 2475 MMR, and we just barely made it out of placements. So I'm looking forward to playing this list even longer. I definitely know it's a 2500 MMR list. We're going to make it there with this list, just to give it a few more days of going. But I highly recommend you guys jumping on this list. It's about Aretusa has it about a tier 2, but we destroyed every tier 1s, tier 2s. A lot of weird lippy decks going around right now too, but we did well against it. So I hope you guys enjoy the games, and please, if you do like the list and you do plan on grabbing the guide, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like and a subscribe, it would really help the channel so that we can bring you more guides in the future. All right, enjoy. So game 1 here, and it's against Symbiosis. It's against the tier 1 list, another Gord list. So, if you do see another Gord style list, make sure you do everything in your power to win round 1. I mean, I don't care. Leader in round 1. And I'll tell you what, actually, while I mentioned that, we leadered in round 1 a few times. It's do or die with the lists. So I'm not saying always leader in round 1, but if you are going against a Gord list or any probably Scoia'tael list for the most part, do whatever it takes to win round 1. And I almost tell you, because we have Oneiromancy in our hand, if I wasn't so busy trying to thin out some bricks, I probably would have kicked Gord. you know, I absolutely would kick Gord if you have no Neuromancy in your hand. You don't want a card in your hand that you know, don't feel like you can play down to round zero, you know, 0 cards. So obviously Mr. Opponent knows he wants to win round 1 just as badly, so he's thinning. We do love our hand. This is an extremely solid hand for the round 1 action. It's nice to have thinning. Yeah, I didn't talk about Pact too much in the deck guide piece, but you know, it definitely was nice to be able to boost Hawker Smuggler, you know, if we weren't on round 1, or if it was able to survive. Technically, though, if it's able to survive, you know, they probably don't have the removal for it, because that's a card that baits removal right away. Not the end of the world. So, you know, so we're on blue coin, or red coin. So we get to kind of abuse that a little bit to make sure that, you know, we know how important it is to win this matchup. And, you know, obviously because we're seeing the spawning tenants, but they're not getting boosted, that he is a devotion list. Look, I think I made a little bit of a misplay here. You know, I should have Geralted right here. I think I just missed that it was in my hand. Or I wasn't paying attention that Geralt will destroy a card. He will, it doesn't matter if it has shield. If it fits within the 9 value, he'll destroy a card. So the fact that I didn't Geralt that right there was a misplay. I should have done that. And if it just wasn't paying attention and I misplayed, but if you go against the deck there that you get a chance to go against, don't let that same mistake happen. So now I'm like, oh, I should Geralt. So I wasted a rebuke. But, you know, we got him to waste a card, boosting it back up. So at the end of the day, he traded a wasted card for my wasted card. Not the end of the world. But I could have still had a rebuke in my hand, and that card could have been off had I done that right. So you know, he's got the Shaping Nature Echo card, which does go tall. Certainly does suck that, you know, he's able to put a card out of range, a little bit out of our you know, Becker's Rock Slide. It would be nice to be able to remove some of that value, but, you know, that's, at the end of the day, that's okay. Always a good chance, you know, you see we've got all good. So as long as you know you can keep pace, you know, it would have been nice to use all good before Novigrad Injustice, because then you could technically get your 2 Rockland Sentinels and then 1 volunteer, and then get the volunteer value in the same round. So that was one of the few times that we didn't boost the Brocklin Sentinels. But, you know, because I had Oneiromancy and I could tutor cards, I felt better about grabbing some of the pieces that we needed. So now there's a good chance, because he's got Vitality there, you know, that a lot of value removed from him, and a death blow to give us extra value. Like I said, we know it's important to to win this round. We're willing to spare any expense.
Oh, I'm feeling sleepy, grumpy, dopey, and bashful.
Getting a lot of feeling values. So sticking in this, like I said, it's making sure that we get the Gress off. Again, we weren't controlling a Dryad, so that did certainly suck at that point. You know, we got Gord in our hand. Just a little bit unfortunate. You know, that's the thing about this deck is that, you know, it is kind of hard. You really want to be ready to go in round one. But, you know, this worked out well for us. He obviously has a lot in his hand that he doesn't want to play. So we literally get Scoia'tael are a great card to say, hey, I get to play this card. I get to secure the round and keep a little bit of rollover to the next round. So certainly nice pieces there. Big mistake by opponent, though. You know, the fact that he passed, that's good. That cost him the game. 100% cost him the game right there. And I know another matchup against dwarves. In the other one, yeah. In fact, the other one I did. I know I leadered round one. So it is nice to get both Brooklyn Sentinels, so that you know that you can aggressively mulligan there. So that was certainly nice. So we can, you know, we know we got Heat Wave. We've got Heat Wave to make sure that we can answer his Gord. I don't know why he got rid of his Dryad here, honestly. I still kind of couldn't figure that out. I mean, if he would have hit it, we'd have removed it with Becker's Rock Slide. So maybe he's anticipating that we have, and he sees that it's just a card that's going to bait removal, because it would have. I mean, I would have Becker's Rock Slide that thing so fast. So we're trying to be careful here. You know, we want Heat Wave. We would love Fauve, but we also don't want a brick. So I really do try to be careful with the mulligans there, you know. So like I said, we leave one because at that point, you know, it's kind of meant to be. Not going to risk it. We have Oneiromancy. You know, we miss out on Fauve, so what? You know, getting greedy could cost you the game by bricking the Sentinel. So there it is. Our game plan here is to get our Gord out untouched and take his Gord off with Heatwave. Everything else is just managing. You know, the good thing too is that, you know, I think about Sheldon is, you know, gosh, even if he does get removed, you're still getting value and damaging. So boosting him as a tall unit, you know, it's nice because technically you're getting 2 points for every 1 point you boost him. He should be your huge target. He does go for that's the, I will say we ran into that issue a little bit. Like if you look at our hand, okay, you know, we have the agitator in there, but if we don't, you almost look at that. We have I had a couple spots here where I had a hand that needed interaction with either a base unit on my hand side or enemy opponent on the enemy card on the opponent's side, and I had to discard a card, you know, because I had nothing to interact with, and I didn't want to play a Sheldon or a Gord yet. So that can happen. It sucks, but don't be afraid to discard a card. It is certainly nice that we had the agitator there. In fact, we beat a Revenant list by just, you know, we didn't want him interacting with our side of the board, and so we kind of played a little discard game there in round 3. Like I said, Pact is, you know, it's an okay card. It kind of makes you go tall, but you know, it is nice to be able to get the Gord value out of it. So yeah, might as well use the boost on the dwarf, get the armor. So, you know, he did get a really good value here, and like I said, I think he's really understanding that he needs to play wide and not tall, hence why he did kick his Hammond Dryad. You know, he doesn't want to go tall. But this seemed to have good opportunity for us to get Skags out.
Malitalas melons in one dense thunder heat.
I will say, always be
Got
kind
a
of thinking
hearty
about leader
hankering
procs in the
for
back of your
Gwent.
mind. I did lose a game because I mismanaged my leader procs. I should have just been better using my time, and so it's just something you always got to be paying attention to. So this set up an amazing Becker's Rock Slide. Incredibly fortunate for us that Gags boosted just enough. But I don't. Oh, that's right. I'm setting up. Okay, yeah, you're right. I wanted to save my. I did want to save it, so I decided to leader here. That's right, because I just wanted to. I had the opportunity here, and I still have Force Protector back there to Becker's Rock Slide, so that made sense. Hey, I'm gonna get the 8 removal, and I'm gonna prevent the Vitality. So that was the opportunity. You know, either way. We're still going to see the value, so I think that was a fine play as well. So he is. We went tall. He's able to get his Beckers answered. And again, it's not even really about removal. So now that I said I'm not going to get that rock slided out, it's all right. No, it's about getting the 8-point damage, not the removal. So, like I said, he is able to kind of spread himself out here. So, you at this point, you got to assume he's got Heat Wave and Gord in his hand, okay? We still are able to tutor Oneiromancy, so we technically have Heat Wave and Gord in our hand. So we'll go ahead and drop our Becker's Rock Slide and get our value. But like I said, now that we know that we've baited his Heat Wave out, we're going to drop Gord now. We got his Heat Wave out. He can't remove it. He's got Gord, so let's play our Gord. Doesn't have to be the last say here. And now we can Heat Wave his Gord. I'm just checking to make sure it's there. There we go. We got our Gord out. He's going to drop his fat Gord, and then we're going to yeet that sucker right off. That's a GG's. So game 2 here is good old Rage of the Sea. So another tier 1 deck. Obviously Skellige's got a lot of damage and a lot of control, but we've got a really good, you'll see round 3, we've got an extremely good counter to all the control that they have. And plenty of control of our own. So it is nice to have both the agitators and both dwarves in our hand. Like I said, we have a Neuromancy. You know, again, I could have kicked Gord, but it's just kind of fishing around for some other items that I needed. You know, like I said, early on in the round, with that being an 8, there's a lot of times where I would use maybe 1 leader tick in round 1, just in case I needed to just get something within reach, but never more than 1 leader tick in round 1 if I had not planned on using full leader ability. Again, you don't want to brick getting your Brocklin Sentinels out. That, you know, by the, like I said, especially with All God, you know, that is 8 points of value you're denying yourself. And again, mismanaging that cost me a game. So don't do what I did. It feels good to have that that removed. So we'll go ahead and start working on our carryover.
If he's not driving hail earthquakes, I have spoken.
So sometimes I will throw it on the Hawker Smuggler. I have done that just in case I do want to see if I can keep it alive, you know, get it out of that 5 range. But this is, you know, like I said, getting it on volunteers. To work with your Novigradian Justice. I think that's essentially, you know, having you know, Neuromancy in your hand just to I really do like to get Novigradian Justice out round 1, just, you know, for thinning reasons.
Accept our sacrifice.
Nice to go ahead and not have to manage that. Like I said, still plenty of carryover, so we haven't really played too deep into much right now. So we'll just kind of slow play it, work on our thinning. I do like to do that, is work on my thinning. Because you can kind of get where your opponent might think that they've got things under control and pass, and you can, you know, kind of keep in mind how much, especially if you've got All God, how much your Novigradian Justice is worth. To kind of keep in mind, hey, if my opponent passes here, can I Novigradian Justice and catch up? You know, so it's kind of nice to let them have that little gap of space, just so if you can see if you can bait the pass, Novigradian Justice, and close that gap and steal the round. Obviously, he's got building quite a bit of a lead on us, so I don't want him to get too far away. And I'd already used the leader ping, so, you know, it just wasn't worth it to me to ping again. It just, you know, I thought about it. I'm like, maybe I get rid of that. I get circle out. I get the other value, but don't, you know, not. I kind of thought about it. It wasn't worth it. We're still quite a bit behind, but, you know, we got Fauve. Got Oneiromancy.
I once lopped off 3 heads with one blow.
Mr. Opponent's still pushing hard. Again, due to Morkvark and some other, you know, champions charge under the right circumstances against like a Patricidal Fury, man, it is so hugely important to win this round and not have to face those things. So, you know, we were committed to, even if I have to go. You don't want to go down a card because that would defeat, you know, you lose your last say then. So, like I said, we're just trying to stay in this round as strong as we can. So getting that removal on the greatsword was huge for us. And like I said, Fauve is another tutor for that. That was nice. Still down by 15 points though. You'll see, I mean, we spend a lot of time just because of the removal and the engines they have to just put damage on you. We do spend a lot of time down points. But, you know, like I said, it's important to get our agitator value up because Sheldon's also a big bridge, you know. He plays for tremendous points, so you can really close gap pretty well with him. So, you know, he wants to keep playing, but I think the opponent feels that he's so far ahead that he doesn't want to keep playing his good cards anymore, and he thinks that I'm not going to stick in the round too much longer. Wrong. So there we are. Like I said, I need to get Novigrad Injustice out to prove to the opponent it's not going anywhere. Nice to get some instant value from Algod that round, and boom, just like that, we're caught up. But I thought if he passed here, then I wasn't going to be able to play our agitator into Skag. So that was my big deal. Is, hey, I got to catch up. But it doesn't pass, and it is too many cards turns for me to catch up. So let's get that out. Let's bridge that gap. Then I can safely play agitator, and then I can overtake the round with Sheldon. He passes. Again, this is what's so great about Agitator here. This happened a lot with Circle of Life or Agitator, where we would literally be able to play just enough to pass and get carryover with it. So that was fantastic for us to just take the round by 1 point and boost Sheldon. I couldn't, you couldn't ask for anything better on that. I think as maybe this list gets a little bit more popular, you might see more people push it harder. And so then again, like O'Neill, you know, kick in Gord so that you can literally deplete all of your cards. If you do have an Neuromancy, might be a more common tactic. So there we go. So, you know, it's nice to set our hand up pretty well. Again, we will pass and take the long round to safely protect our fantastic Gord. So, opponent's going to come into the round with full leader too. So, you know, that's actually nice for us because I'm like, okay, that guarantees me a death blow for my Sentinels. You know, we were pretty lucky, like I said, pretty lucky about not bricking Sentinels, but you can see here, it's not worth pulling that other Sentinel in. You know, we don't want to go tall with Pact, so really this is a perfect hand because we can already Oneiromancy for Heatwave. So, you know, this is the hand, not worth bricking anything. So he brings Longship out. You know, in hindsight, I didn't want to drop leader ability right here, you know, because it's just like I said, it'd be removing a card and not getting a death blow. Even though I was looking at, hey, Circle Life does 3, I could get it off the plate, but you know, the cool thing about this deck is you can kind of play uninteractive when you want to play uninteractive. So I think that that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to put as less units out there as possible, and really try to draw from that carryover. So that, you know, now that he's put both those cards out, you know, that is by far the more dangerous card. We're not going to touch it yet. Like I said, we're just trying to play as uninteractive as possible. So no ship value there, of course. The Drummond will still get their value. So out comes Herald.
Here's the better loot than in your wildest, wettest dreams.
That fucker's just getting punched hard. We have options, you know, and about how we want to deal with this. You know, at that point, the Great Sword's at 6. You know, we don't have Becker's Rock Slide. What we do, we want the Drummond off. You know, it's about, like I said, with 2 5s there, possibly working to set up death blows. So he's going to finally bring out the Drummond to get us taken away there. But he put his Greatsword at 9. So, you know, it's an interesting take to remove that piece. Like I said, we did not really ever struggle too hard to gain value for Geralt. And I think because this could be a tougher matchup to find value for him, it's too good to not take that chance there. So he leaders there. He get himself back to a 6. But, you know, now that we have that 2 out there, we feel, hey, we can do what we need to get that death blow. There's only 2, you know, that at this point it's nice because, hey, either one will take it on. But we're still gonna play uninteractive-ish for a little bit there. You know, just good chance to work on our carryover value. Is nice because he's not getting a death blow, so staying in that bronze range.
If I go down,
He's got us pretty well wrecked. Okay, he's right where we want him to be. So Sheldon's boosted by 6 total, so you know that's 6 removal. That's 18-point card Sheldon is right now. Try and do the math, our NA math here, and figure out exactly how I want to set this up. So I do lose a leader tick there. And again, I'm nervous about tall removal, so I choose to put the points on Gord because, again, he's not going tall. So 6 removal on Sheldon's really about as high as I need to go. So see that now as Champion Charge comes out. No value. We got no units on the board. That's okay. We have a lot of damage left. We have our 3 best cards left to play. We have our leader ability still to play. So, you know, and again, I no need to play your leader ability till the very last card anyways. The Neromancy into Heat Waves, pretty much a double proc for that anyway, so there it goes. In fact, I think opponent got out Morkvarg in round 1, so the fact that we didn't have to worry about Morkvarg, I think. So like I said, he has a dead leader ability there. I can't remember if he did have Morkvarg. If he, like I said, even if he doesn't, you know, yeah, he would get 6 removal there. In fact, he gets 6 removal with the decoction. The only thing he wouldn't have, he would have had 5 more on his side. You know, he would have had a 5-point Morkvarg sitting on his side. Doesn't matter. I mean, like I said, that Morkvarg wouldn't have mattered. Jeez. Welcome into game number 3 here, and it's against the Pirates Cove list. I thought this would be a good one to highlight because we did a really good job of managing spenders. Of course, securing round 1. Looking at the fact that we had Novigrad of Justice in our hand, no Neromancy in our hand. Also got Hawker Smuggler in our hand. You know, ended up with a pretty solid starting hand so that we could go deep. Not a lot. You know, we've got Sheldon in there. You kind of see right now that you don't really have too much to give him value. And you can see that, like I said, with 1 card left, it's just not worth, especially with Novigrad of Justice, it's not worth bricking a hand. It's just, don't get too greedy there and brick your hand. So we just said, hey, that's our hand, let's roll. So Mr. Opponent drops a poison on us, and I, you know, I wanted to call the bluff here and say, you know, how much poison's really being run right now? I don't think a whole lot. So I thought, hey, you know what? I'm going to, this is going to be my opportunity to drop Fob. Now that we control her, we'll get some good Dryad's Caress value. Now we're going really, really tall. You know, that's going to be a 15-point unit when it's all said and done. That demands a answer from opponent. The great thing is it's gonna bait out tall removal. You know, if he had Heat Wave in his hand, I'm sure he would have Heat Waved it. So it's gonna take him 2 cards to get it done. Plus, he's gonna burn a Royal Decree, which is really good. So to get Caleb out, man, that was huge. Because I'm like, okay, I know how he's gonna answer this. I wanted to at least get rid of that so he has no more opportunity to place bounties. So in comes his removal. great thing is he didn't have the coins for the tribute, but that's not a card that really had great high base value anyways, so probably worth saving the coins on him. So all got here, put that on volunteer and the 2 dryads, of course. Works well for us. We did get some proc on Sheldon. That was very good RNG for us.
These marvels, they
So now that he's got coins, he's going to go ahead and get a Sauron. And again, I don't mind using 1 leader tick in round 1 to remove an engine. So that's exactly what we do. We go ahead and get that removed. It's not worth it to let that roll, especially when we need round 1. So I think we do a good job of getting that off the board. So he's going to go ahead and drop a spender and use up some of those coins since he doesn't need them. Carryover's poor on that. So I do, like I said, I'm really trying to separate myself here. I want to get out to a good, clean lead here and try to get the opponent to pass as soon as possible so I can take the round. Like I said, I do like having Heat Wave in my hand in round 3. Not a card I'm looking to have to use. So, we're up quite a bit here, and we've got good cards in our hand. So you don't want to overcommit too much, and obviously because we missed the agitators, probably Sheldon isn't going to be as valuable in this round as he would be had we had maybe some different draws. But at the same time, you're only up 12. It's not a whole lot if the opponent wants round 1. It's just not enough to pass on. So we're going to go ahead and drop Sheldon. Go after that spender. If he doesn't spend there, we could, get it in force sector range. So he goes ahead and grabs his Philippa to take my Caleb, which really quickly evens the score out there pretty well. You don't want to lose on even, if at all possible. But at the same point, you don't want to be stupid about it. You want to push as reasonably well as possible. Again, I have used leader ability if I thought it was absolutely necessary in round 1, but you're going to see that we're up 2. I don't really have the value on the cards that I want. It's a tough pass, but fortunately we have to surrender to the round. But I feel like we got, there's a couple times where I felt like, hey, we lost the round, but we got our opponent to commit so much that we're just going to be stronger for it in the later rounds. So, not the end of the world, especially with our Neuromancy coming back in. Now again, you can see I've got to get a unit to be able to discard. That's kind of sometimes the scary piece. And I'm like, okay, I've got the agitator. Again, no carryover value. Kind of sucks. But it is what it is.
We've lived in isolation for too bloody long.
Like I said, he has leader ability spender, so you just want to be, you want to make him waste as many coins as you possibly can. We don't have to worry about Philippa. He doesn't have bounty. Seeing these 2 sentinels roll in together was great because I know I could aggressively mulligan. And like I said, we did go a little bit tall, but look, there's Becker's Rock Slide. We've got that with Oneiromancy. So then it's like, okay, we got everything we want. Gord's in hand, so our Agitator's now getting us value again. He's going into bank right away. And when I see him pull out a spender here, I'm thinking Mr. Opponent might have not have a lot of spenders.
They've so damn much. Anyone teach
So he's probably going to want to boost it out of removal range, possibly, so that he can keep that alive. And ooh, 8. Ooh, that's probably in Becker's Rockside range. Let's go to 9. Let's go to 9. That'll be safe. So he just wasted all of his coins and took it to 9. I mean, come on. Geralt value doesn't get any better than this right here. Just doesn't. He wasted bank. He wasted his coins. He doesn't have a spender. Like, that's just great value for us. So then here comes Bincy. So he knows we got removal, so he leaders right away to keep Bincy in action. Well, alright, we could heat wave it, but there's no point. If we've got Rock Slide, yeah, let's go get it done. So we get perfect value there. And now I'm coming for the spenders. I don't want any spenders. So we're gonna make him waste those coins. So, you know, we do have 2 packs. I was worried about it if he did have more poison. You know, he might have got a couple rounds to get a poison package to put together. He is able to, you know, get good coin value there. We'll just use this opportunity to boost back up.
Up the north.
So put a bounty on the Agitator, which really, you know, not much has a high base value, so we just stay away from boosting that. So we're going tall again, you know, it is what it is. Packs aren't my favorite card in this list. But they make sense. They're low value. So he's got coin value now. So he's gonna do that. He does some work with Freak Show. So we got to get Freak Show right off the table. So that works out well for us. That's why he was putting the bounty on there. So hopefully, Mr. Opponent has no more spenders. No more coins either. So look at this. I mean, it's just like every card he kept dropping just kept being the perfect card for me to deal with. Like, I just had a card in my hand to just deal with everything, so that's gone. So, you know, he's going for the Siggy Caesar final say, which, again, even if he switched it around and then went Caesar and then into finals, it didn't matter. There's not enough value either way he played the card. And so we get the GG.
This has helped.
Welcome to game number 4, and I thought it was extremely important to show you guys a Revenant list. You know, I know that they're becoming really common in the meta right now. Some with Siege, some with not. But they're a powerful list, and if you let them have a round to kind of create, grow, and manage their damage to build death blows for the Revenants, and even if you play interactive and they've got Ronvid, they can do a lot of damage here. So we did a lot of things this game that we normally don't do in other matchups to avoid some of those pitfalls. Again, here's me taking my, you know, it seems like I always take and use one proc in a round to kind of gain an advantage or get a card within reach of a special card we want to use there. So again, here comes Ronvid, and I'd tell you if I had Heat Wave in my hand, I'd Heat Wave him right here so quickly. We've done it in the past. Ronvid is a hugely important card to this list. It makes it so they don't have to set up death blows. So we can't manage it, but seeing Ronvid come out just shows me I have to win round 1. I have to play hyper aggressive here and ensure that we win. And I don't want to overcommit, but I really want to push hard. So that's why we play Novigrad Injustice here. So he comes up with Eggman, and I'm like, damn. I mean, he's really committed to the round. So
Yet what do I get?
gotta manage that. This is where, you know, like I said, we're gonna do 2 things in this list that we don't normally, or in this matchup that we don't normally do. And that's leader ability in round 1. We've done leader ability in round 1 because we understand the importance of winning round 1. It's not something we typically do, but again, it's not something we're afraid to do if need be. There we go. We ping them and put the death blow on Egmont and pull our units out. But we got all our thinning done right there. We don't have to worry about bricking any cards the rest of the way. So there we go. And this wouldn't be a good round for him to lead her in anyways, because, you know, most likely he's going to want to lead her damage proccing card or Revenant. So we just don't want, I just don't want him to catch any momentum in this round. So we're just trying to, you know, if he's going to get an engine out next card and be able to boost it up and give some shield, we want to stop it all from happening. We just can't really get his game plan into fruition this round. So, like I said, we just came out hyper aggressive, and I think it was a good strategy, especially because we're on red coin. You know, it might be a little bit different not being on red coin, but we wanted to take full advantage of it. You know, the great thing about the Circle of Lives, too, is they play right into Revenant value. So, you know, we're still trying to build Sheldon up, so instead of so like I said, got a pretty solid lead over the opponent right now. Granted, it took our leader ability to get there, but it does get us the pass. The reason I did want that aggressive first round was because we're gonna bleed him. You know, we're the great thing is this isn't a typical bleed. You know, I could have passed and had double SA, but I still think his list is very strong in a long round 3, even possibly stronger than ours. And we do have short round potential. You know, like Sheldon, Gord, or Heatwave is a 3-card round 3. You could be, you know, but it'd be very hard to secure just those 3 cards. So, you know, chances are I think a Heatwave and a Gord are great cards to have as a final say. So that, and we got him. We got Sheldon, we got Gord, we got Heatwave, we got everything we could want now. So we're gonna bleed.
We'll pay men
And
back
the
for
great
our
thing is if we can bleed
purification.
correctly, we could still end up with double SA. I mean, there's no possible way, even if we're down, the opponent can maintain card. The best he can hope for is even cards. This is what you want to see. I mean, I'm telling you, we just find Geralt value all the time. And this is fantastic Geralt value. But, you know, I don't feel like he'll play any taller there. So it's nice that I don't have to really dive right into that card. I wanted to string out round 2, a little bit longer. Let's get our carryover out.
The rest mortar.
We want him committing as much as possible. So there again, he brings the Revenant out. We don't need to get Geralt out quite yet. Let's, you know, so this is the great thing about Force Protectors. We're not going to Force Protector into a Rebuke. We're going to Force Protector into a Circle, and deal with that Revenant. So we do have really good use of cards against Revenants. That certainly play to our advantage. So at this point, though, Sheldon's already getting 6 damage. You know, it wasn't really worth playing that tall, especially because we were going to probably play Sheldon this round and Gord next round. So I feel like, hey, 6 damage is all I need from Sheldon. You know, getting the Talus out is a chance, you know, for him to not be able to kick AA next round and tutor it in with John, so that was nice to get rid of him there. There we go. There we got our sweet Geralt value. Telling you, Geralt is amazing in this list. And that card is badass. So again, not you know, doesn't get the full proc there, but I think that's a great Sheldon target. So we are most likely going to Sheldon that, but I want to get, yeah, I want to get the Agitator boosted up just so we can get that 2 armor. Try to maintain value. Again, you know, I don't like going too tall. Then, you know, that gets the Spectre's Rock Slide out. No worries. That's a great card to see out. So that we'll go ahead and drop our Sheldon value there. We're up nice points. So look at this. We're getting all of his big cards out. You know, those are, look at those. You know, that'd be a nice removal card that would possibly get him another Revenant Deathblow. So, and look at that. You know, the amazing pass. So we were able to bleed him so well and stay 1 point up. That's just like the most beautiful pass possible. We get his Curse of Corruption out. You know. Fantastic bleed. So 2 things we don't normally do in the list. We leadered round 1 and we bled round 2. You know, just trying to show, hey, we can play the list different. We can do, we can adjust to make things happen. So again, you know, I really want that Nature's Rebuke, but hey, getting Oneiromancy to get it would be sweet too. That would add more to the Gord. So I've got, you know, a 2 and 3 chance of getting what I want. But I really don't want that Dryad's Crest. It wouldn't be any value at all. But I don't want the pact either. So it was worth going after it. We get the rebuke, so that's fantastic.
Destiny is unswerving.
So
Cheated. It will not be.
He's gonna start building his archers up. A leader, so that's a perfect, like I said, here we don't really need to kill these, we just need to remove their shields so that they don't gain charges. That is nice to play uninteractive if when possible.
For king! For country! For freedom!
So, you know, like I said, he's got pretty low units. I saw, you know, that technically is playing for 5 damage. So, you know, we took our Heat Wave here. We could have waited one, maybe let him, you know, whatever card we put, he would have been able to instantly remove. I think this worked out pretty well because we take that out. He still has AA. So he's going to tutor in some pretty good boost and damage. But because you'll see, because of his last say, he gets no value out of it. So we're going to play low. We know that he can only play 1 more card. There's no point in putting our Hawker Smuggler out. Let's put our Agitator out and really work towards getting a huge final say. Double final say. So like I said, now he's got plenty of damage, but he's got a Heat Wave too, so no value there. See, we're going to cruise to a nice victory, putting out Hawkers and with a nice fat Gord.